My name is Volker Kruger from Velden-Duffey Attorneys. My partner and I would like to buy a piece of agricultural land that has a size of 3 hectares. Is the Subdivision of Agricultural Land Act applicable to such a sale? Now, the answer, unfortunately, is yes. In terms of that act, you cannot subdivide agricultural land without the consent of the Minister of Agriculture, firstly. And then secondly, you can also not be joint owners of agricultural land without the same minister's consent. Now, to obtain that consent is often not easy to do. There are fairly strict requirements that have to be met, and also it's a lengthy and cumbersome process. So if you want to buy a property together with your partner, who you're not married to, then the Act would apply, and we would then suggest that you rather use a company to buy the property, and then you and your partner can be the shareholders of that company, for example, in equal shares or whatever you agree on. And then you actually would comply with the Act in that there would only be one purchaser and one owner of the land after the transfer, with the 2 shareholders holding the shares in that company. So unfortunately, that Act has to be complied with. If you are married, however, in community of property, then it's not a problem. Then you and your spouse can indeed buy agricultural land without the minister's consent. If you are married out of community of property, the same principle applies. Then it's 2 separate estates and 2 separate buyers for purposes of the Act, the Subdivision of Agricultural Land Act of 1970, and consequently, you would also have to obtain the consent or make use of a company, as explained earlier. So the idea of the Act is basically to prevent the agricultural land in the country being subdivided in the form of a subdivision of the land as such, or in the form of joint ownership into units that are not economic to farm. So to ensure that the farming land in the country is not cut into small pieces which can't be economically farmed, the Act indeed prescribes that for such a subdivision or for such joint ownership, the consent of the minister must be obtained for such a transfer.